While he was still a long way off, his father saw him and was filled with compassion. He ran to his son.
Oh, my boy! Nothing you did could turn my love away.
For this son of mine was lost.
Son, you're home now.
I am, Father.
Tonight we feast, for my son was lost and now is found. Cheers!
Shalom, my yappa mishpaka. In today's video, we are reading from the book of Luke, chapter 15, verses 11 through 32. And he said, a certain man had 2 sons, and the younger of them said to his father, Father, give me the portion of goods put forth. And he divided his livelihood between them. And not many days after, the younger son, having gathered all together, went away to a distant country, and there wasted his goods with loose living. And when he had spent all, there arose a severe scarcity of food throughout that land, and he began to be in need. And he went and joined himself to one of the citizens of that country, and he sent to him to his fields to feed pigs. And he was longing to fill his stomach with the pods which the pigs were eating, and no one gave to him. But having come to himself, he said, How many of my father's hired servants have bread enough and to spare? And I am perishing with hunger. Having risen, I shall go to my father and say to him, Father, I have sinned against the Shemayim and before you, and I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me like one of your hired servants. And having risen, he went to his father, and while he was still a long way off, his father saw him and was moved with compassion, and ran and fell on his neck and kissed him. And the son said to him, Father, I have sinned against the Shemayim and before you, and I am no longer worthy to be called your son. But the father said to his servants, Bring out the best robe and put it on him, and put a ring on his hand and sandals on his feet. And bring the fattened calf here and slaughter it, and let us eat and rejoice, because this son of mine was unalive and is alive again, and he was lost and is found. And they began to rejoice. And his older son was in the field, and when he came and approached the house, he heard music and dancing. And having called one of the servants, he asked what this meant. And he said to him, Your brother has come, and your father has unalived the fattened calf, because he received him back in health. And he was wroth and would not go in. So his father came out and pleaded with him. And answering, he said to his father, See, these many years I have been serving you, and I have never transgressed a command of yours. But to me you have never given a young goat, so I could rejoice with my friends. But when this son of yours came, who has devoured your livelihood, with whores you slaughtered the fattened calf for him? Then he said to him, Son, you are always with me, and all I have is yours. And we had to rejoice. Today, let's break down one of the most powerful parables ever told, the parable of the prodigal son. But this story isn't just about a rebellious son. It's about the heart of the father, and it's about 2 sons. Let's walk through it together. We have a lot to uncover. In scene 1, the story begins with a younger son asking his father for his inheritance. In Israelite culture, this was shocking. Inheritance was given after the father's death. So this request was essentially saying, I wish you were dead. The father grants the request, the son leaves home, he travels to a distant country, and he wastes everything in reckless living. Then a famine hits. He loses everything. He ends up feeding pigs, an unclean animal in the Israelite culture. And he becomes so hungry that he desires the food the pigs are eating. This is the picture of a spiritual decline, leaving his own covering, leaving instruction, leaving relationship, choosing independence over intimacy. Now, in scene two is the turning point. Then comes one of the most powerful lines in the entire parable. He came to himself. He realizes even the servants in my father's house have enough food. I am perishing out here. He acknowledges his failure. He decides to return home and he prepares a speech of repentance in saying, and I read, I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me like one of your hired servants. This is true repentance, recognition, humility, and decision to turn back. In scene three, we see the father's response. But before the son can even finish his speech, the father sees him from far away. He runs. In the Israelite culture, older men did not run. It was considered undignified. But compassion overrode dignity. He embraces him, kisses him, and restores him. The father calls for a robe, which symbolizes honor, a ring, symbolizing authority and sonship, sandals because servants went barefoot, sons wore shoes, and a feast for public celebration. The son asked to be a servant, and the father restored him as a son. This is restoration without probation, identity restored, shame removed, and relation. Scene 4 marks the older brother. Now, the story here shifts. The older brother hears music and celebration and he becomes angry. He says, I've served you all these years. I never disobeyed you, and you never celebrated me. Outwardly obedient, but also inwardly resentful. He saw himself as a servant and not as a son. He struggled with his own grace, and this brother represents those who are near physically but distant in heart. One son was lost in rebellion, the other was lost in religion. Now, to top it off and to finalize the story, in scene 5, we see the father's final words. The father says to the older son, Son, you are always with me. All that I have is yours. Then he explains it was fitting to celebrate. Your brother was dead and is alive again. Notice something important. The story ends without telling us whether the older brother joins the celebration. Why? Because the listener must also decide. Will we rejoice when the lost return, or will we stand outside? In closing reflection, this parable reveals the Father is watching. And I'm not talking about his Father, I'm talking about our Abba Yahuwah is always watching. And Abba Yahuwah is waiting. The Father runs also, and the Father restores. Both sons were lost, but the Father's heart never changed. So the question becomes, are you running away? Are you working for love instead of resting in it? Or are you ready to come home? Thank you so much for watching. If this behooved you, share it and reflect on what this story reveals about the heart of the Father. Until next time, my name is Miracle, aka Vegan Hebrew. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. for the next video. Shalom.